So Shepard Fairey used your house, or your building, as a site with your permission, I believe.
Yes.
But I understand the neighbors weren't too happy about it. Can you tell us about that episode and what you think about Fairey's work?
Well, it was a really interesting process. This is Shepard here putting up the piece on the freaking coldest February day. It was like 20 below, and all these guys are from LA. Their wheat paste was freezing. I was running up and down the stairs trying to get like boiling water to keep it from, they had the hardest time getting this thing on the building. Anyway, what happened was we had a party, and our friend Jeff Hargadon was kind of instrumental in bringing the show to the ICA. And he was telling us at this party we were having in our house that Shepard was doing these public art pieces as part of his show and looking for places around town. And he was having a really hard time with the South End and Back Bay because they're historic districts, and he couldn't find, no one's giving up any space. So we're like, well, Susan said, we got a wall. And so next thing you know, Shepard and his curator, Pedro, came by, checked out the space, and they said, this is great, we'll be here Saturday to put it up. And so Shepard came in and he kind of showed us. It was very nice. We didn't know if he'd just put up whatever he wants or we'd have any say in it. So he rolled out the big 8-foot high prints, and we picked this peace sign. And so this is kind of it going up there. And literally, you can't imagine how cold it was. And there's some great action shots from Kent. Obey. With frozen wheat paste. And of course the cops came by and they said, is this your property? And we said, well, yes, officer, it is our property. And they said, no problem. And so this was very interesting to hear later when he was arrested. It was such a bullshit case. Anyway, so this is it done, and I hosed off the sidewalk. But it was, again, it was the hardest, installation I think they ever had because it was so cold. But, Cliff said many of the neighbors didn't like it. I think 99% of the neighbors liked it. People would come by and say how much it brightened up the neighborhood, and, little kids would talk about it, and we'd have these conversations with people we'd never have conversations with before. I'm talking about how he designed the Obama Hope poster and things like that. And it was just this great, kind of neighborhood thing. But of course, there's a couple people that don't do anything. Boston's a museum. And so we had to go to court, and we had to go to City Hall, and there was a story on the news about how we were going to be fined $500 a day while this was up. But we had all these people express their support and write letters to the district commission and things like that. And so they granted us a kind of stay of execution through the show. But not everyone liked that. So the day before I was to give a talk at the ICA, apparently 2 white women came by. They were seen from across the street but not identified. And first they wrote, please do not disgrace my city with this ludicrous abomination in black, but didn't show up well enough. So they went over it again in white. I guess they're not skilled graffiti artists. But I spent, the good portion of a weekend with graffiti remover taking this off, and I did get it off. It kind of made it a little more aged looking. And at that point, installed a security camera. I wanted to catch them so bad. But it did add to the story. It's kind of interesting. These people that don't like his quote graffiti were graffitiing his piece. It was really interesting process. But then in the end we did have to take it off. That was the ruling. But it was kind of time to go. It stayed up from February through September, the whole time of the show. And then this is my mom's husband, who really likes to work a power washer. And so it gave him something to do. And we had a big party around that, you know, kind of removal party, so it was kind of fun. So, yeah, it was our little Shepard Fairey claim to fame.